We're gonna get clear guidance with that.
I'll tell you, stuff behind
Yes, he did tell us.
us, picking up children and uniforms.
Oh,
That takes some time to a little longer.
incident. There's your badge.
I want the badge you have.
Yeah, it is.
What is that badge? Oh, gosh. All right, good morning, everyone. We called over the December 9th meeting, the Madison County Board of Commissioners. My name is Chris Ball, so everybody would please introduce themselves.
Tony Sneakers.
Brendan Shea.
Rob Swain. Dick Atkins, prosecutor.
I'm the mayor and assistant clerk.
Dennis Payne.
Amy Reese clerk.
Everybody should have received a copy of the meeting minutes from last week. We also need to approve.
It just didn't get signed.
Okay.
Move to approve the minutes, dispense with their reading.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus.
Yes.
Mr. Wallace.
Yes. Mr. Atkins. Good
Morning.
sir. Good morning.
I have nothing for you today, sir.
Wow. Moving right along there. Mr. Duke, how are you this morning, sir?
Doing very well.
Good. What's happening?
Well, Mother Nature has slammed the door on the construction season. We've gotten pretty used to mild Decembers in the past and we're not having one so far, so. We're in snow and ice mode, had a couple of events already. Things are going well with that. We were talking about Big Plain Circleville, bridges earlier, so. Bridge at the county line that county crews are working on is getting paid today. Guardrail was put in over the weekend, so it'll be open tomorrow. Bigger bridge over Deer Creek, is getting a concrete deck put on it today. It should be open a couple of weeks. Had about a month or 5 week delay on the bridge beams on that, so that's why we're here in December trying to wrap things up. So, so thing one, the paving project for Big Plain Circleville Road had a commitment from your board for $500,000 on that. We've got the milling done, the intermediate course done. I'm working on the first pay request on that. Part of it will get dispersed out to a BWC, and then my ask would be for your share on that, and we can either, do the ratio for percentage complete, or we can move that entire 500 over this season, if that would be more convenient for your budget. But I'll get a written request into you this week, and you can decide how you want to take action on that next Tuesday.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Thing two, and maybe I'm too late, budget cycle wise, but we've been talking about, the discretionary pilot revenue, getting a portion of that into roads. I do have a couple of roads in mind for next year, that actually have, township interest, in contributions as well. They're county roads. It's about 10 miles of road. Anything that we can put into that out of the pilot revenue could make those projects happen. And I can get a formal request into you this week. We can talk about further action at your next meeting. But my goal all along has been to get 50% of that discretionary money into roads and bridges. Roads primarily, paving and widening primarily. But something to think about. I know you guys have a lot of hands out and a lot of needs out there, resource wise, but if there's any way we can, get that way get that revenue into roads and get that money working for everyone in the county. That would be what I'd like to see.
That'd be great. Do you think you can get us like a breakdown, like top 3 projects and, dollar figures, maybe what the townships are contributing, just so we have an overall idea?
Absolutely.
Yeah, do that. I think we can.
Yeah, because, we've got, one township has some, it's not sole revenue, but it's revenue from other sources that they were wanting to put into a county road in their township, and another township is seeing, increased revenue from a solar project in their county or in their township that they're wanting to get into a county road. So I can break that down for you and
Yeah, that'd be great.
map that out a little
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, see top priorities, how much investment, what the townships are investing.
Yeah.
And I think we'd be willing to help with that.
We've got the roads that were used for those projects that got approved, ended up in better condition than when we started. And my hope was to start working on some of the other roads in that project area, where some folks had to deal with those projects and put up with traffic and whatnot, and start seeing the benefit infrastructure outside of the whole price.
Yep, that makes sense. I mean, I think we've always said we're willing to work with you and want to see some of the dollars go to those projects. So yeah, definitely something I think we're all interested in.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Sir, appreciate it.
That will be it for.
Thank you.
Okay, so figure out what that was, see if we'll pay. I think I have to get right to say.
So we didn't budget anything for roads coming out of the general fund. Right?
I think we already gave something to him, 400, almost $500,000.
Well, yeah, but he's also he's talking about additional.
Yeah, no, we have not done that.
Yeah, so it's,
Can't really budget it until we know what.
yeah. We're a little late to in the process.
Unless we put something in, just,
I mean, we could delay accepting the general fund budget today, move it to Tuesday, a week from now, and we could add some of those numbers in if he can get that information to us. But it's gonna get tight.
Yeah.
As far as revenue and expenses go.
I was under the impression that the 15th was a deadline. Is that not the case?
Yeah.
So next week's the 16th.
Amy, you wanna check with the auditor's office real quick to see? This, what was
I
it?
mean, the deadline for, never passed it this early before, meaning when they're shutting down.
It's just whenever we need to pay the bills out of the new budget cycle, so. That might have been the number that we set, a date that we set, to make sure we had it done.
I see.
but it could change too.
Yeah, if it's just.
The last day to submit bills is the 19th. That's not what you're asking.
Yeah, so I think we have some time.
Okay. If that's the case, then yeah. Understand.
We're gonna pass the budget today there, Brian. Now you put a little pink in it.
Okay.
So get the information quickly.
Yeah, if I can get that like ASAP, so we can put that in. And have it have the commissioners approve it on a week from today. Is that possible?
Is it something you wanna do next year, or is this over a period of 2 years?
I'd like to do it next year.
Well, when they need to have the budget, the system to start paying bills, during the new budget. Yeah.
I know you sent us the link to see the dynamic map. I'm not finding it. Could you just resend it to me?
Sure.
Thanks.
So Yeah, road one is David Blair between 42 and Plain City. It's about 3.5 miles. Needs overlaid similar to what we did at Jump Road. It would take about $500,000 to do that. Monroe Township. It's a road that they.
Unless it's a permissions thing from your, and I may have to get a hold.
Road two is then.
About the link.
I don't know if it's, permissions, yes, give certain people. If you click on it, it should show you.
That's the name all around to the elevator and the Shieldsburg. He's widened at least 2 feet. I'd like to widen it. That would probably be $1 million project.
Yeah, do that.
Pike Township wants to contribute a good portion to the widening on that. So, yeah, whatever we can come up with.
What's the third?
Well, that was two.
About 10 miles from.
So at the end of December to pass the budget.
I mean, I would
Oh,
rather,
Cause we did it late before.
you've done it.
Well, I was saying we
We'll
didn't,
start out to.
we didn't budget any dollars for road improvements out of general funds. If we wanted to forego accepting the budget today, we could get those numbers.
Yeah, I don't know how you treat that discretionary revenue. You know, I'm not asking for funds out of your regular general fund.
Yeah.
I know that goes into your general fund, but that's not, you know,
Yeah.
the piece of the pie that I'm asking for.
Sure.
It would be at 1.9 ish that you should be saving next year, discretionary.
Yeah, it's accounted for in with revenue,
I see.
total revenue, and then we have a line set up for those dollars, so.
We would sit along to capital,
I thought we did,
think so, yeah.
capital
go with it, right?
projects.
well, not capital projects, but for solar.
Just for solar.
Yeah, she does.
Discretionary solar knowledge. Very good.
And, you know, there are other counties doing a similar approach. Hardin County in particular, they're putting their discretionary dollars into roads in their county
Yeah.
as well, so it seems to be going really well. They're getting really good feedback up there on road improvements they're seeing.
Yeah, I was there, thought it made sense to use those dollars for infrastructure improvements, so. Yep, we're on board. Mr. Swain.
Yes, sir. I just want to take a minute here real quick just to go over some of the information that I obtained at the CCAO conference last week. I won't bore you with every session that I was in, but a few topics came up that I think are contain some valuable knowledge that I'd like to share with the board. First and foremost, session on data centers and what counties should know, considering that I believe the numbers just came out that the Columbus Central Ohio region is the 6th or 7th largest data center conglomeration in the world. So the pressure is on, not only in Central Ohio, but Northwest Ohio and even some of the smaller counties out there in the state of Ohio. So Mark Fry, President of Palmer Energy, Jeremy Hoyt, Public Service Director, City of Marysville, Gary Thompson, Executive Vice President and COO of the Northwest Ohio Regional Growth Partnership, were the presenters. Facilitator was Union County Commissioner that I can't remember his name now.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. So, started the presentation with some information from the federal level. They stated that President Trump is encouraging fighting a battle of AI with India, Russia, and China. With that comes data centers. You can't have one without the other. So they are a must to be able to compete. also added that other countries are flooding the US with negative propaganda, with the intention of derailing data center construction, sparking, fanning the flames of NIMBYism and so forth, so on, with some negative information, misinformation. Northwest Ohio brought up that, you know, it is, the NIMBYism, the opposition is real. They had an ethanol plant placement, public hearing, one person showed up. And that is a facility that needs EPA approval, air, water, storm, sewer, you know, so forth, so on. One person showed up, but for the data center, they had 100 people show up. So that was an interesting point that they brought up. Northwest Ohio also said they saw significant ancillary job creation and formation of a tech sector that came with the data centers. Their estimate was that for every data center job, 23 ancillary jobs were created. The panel also mentioned that data centers have been around for decades. Old data centers are loud, new data centers are relatively quiet. And they encourage that zoning be used to control noise and enforce that as well. They also mentioned the counties are in the best position ever to negotiate deals with data centers, and that a JED is a must. High-paying construction jobs capture significant income tax for 2 to 3 years. And what I took away from the conversation, that overall the discussion was very positive towards data centers. There wasn't really any county that came out and said that, you know, hey, we've got a data center, we've got multiple data centers, and after construction, we have all these issues. They've been relatively happy. Now, of course, that was the group. Can't say that's every county in the state of Ohio, but the ones that were there, there wasn't really anyone that came out with a negative response. So that kind of bled over into the County Administrators Association of Ohio group. I was elected president, I was vice president, now I'm president. Attitude towards data centers, again, was very positive. The overarching thought was that everybody wished they had asked for more in the negotiations. Some counties mentioned that early entries did not have much opposition. However, new entries do, but complaints gradually diminish over time. So the data centers that have been there are receiving relatively a small amount of complaints, if any. CCAO came in to do legislative update. Of course, hot topic was property tax elimination and what they're going to do to basically oppose that. I'm just not sure it's in time to do much good at this point in time as far as the you know, the petition goes. But anyway, they're mounting or joining in the opposition. Next thing that came up was the Huntington commercial card, which I brought those informational flyers for you gentlemen. Several counties, a lot of counties are using this program. This is a program that we have access to. It is not one that the county auditor has necessarily moved forward with. What was interesting, one county, they cited, they typically receive about $50,000 in rebates. Some counties receive up to $150,000 in rebates. And one county took the money, the rebate money, and actually created a new position in the auditor's office and funded that position through the rebate program. So the auditor was able to increase staff with minimal impact to the budget. This is a program that, from my perspective, seems viable, it would be worthwhile. But we just can't seem to get much traction with it. So, if you'd like to have further discussions with that, I'm happy to do so.
Have further discussions again, you
This is
talked
about the fourth year, I believe.
Yeah, you talked several years in a row about this program and we don't seem to get any buy-in.
Sure. And they're happy to come in and speak to the commissioners directly as well. So, and maybe you bring the auditor in for that presentation and see if you can.
Well, let's do that, and a little bit will help, let's try.
And the last thing I had on my list, was AI. There was a significant, discussion, presentation on AI and the benefits of AI in the workplace, increasing government efficiency, so forth, so on. And they, recommended that we create a policy, if we are going to use, AI, and CCAO has a template. So I will work with that, because we've been using AI quite a bit here recently, but I didn't realize the extent of the use of AI and what we can do with it, so. Pretty impressive presentation, and, I think it'll make everybody a little more efficient and make everything, not everything, but a lot of things a little bit easier, so. So that wrapped up the conference. And, I did have on my list to appoint, a representative to the Mid-Ohio Sewer Board, but I didn't know if you had a chance to reach out to the person that you thought was interested and whether or not they were gonna throw their hat in the ring
I
and
think they'd like you, but I'll
send a resume in,
I
so.
hope they're gonna send that in today.
Okay, so I can move that till next Tuesday. However, we are at the, pretty close to the deadline where it'll go to common pleas court if you don't make an appointment.
Do you know the deadline?
I don't off the top of my head, but I can find that out. I know we're within a couple weeks of it. So by next Tuesday, I think that next Tuesday will be our last opportunity to make an appointment before that.
I don't wanna make a decision on who's gonna be. I'm familiar with one of the potential three,
Mhm.
but I don't know the other two, so. And you can get a lot on one rather than looking at a piece of paper, so.
Yeah, I mean, those resumes that we have on hand right now are impressive resumes.
They are.
They're very similar resumes, right? So I think, without speaking to the two interested, gentlemen, it's, on paper, they both look qualified for the position. So the third person, I haven't seen his resume, so I can't, really comment on that, but,
Were you suggesting you'd like to see interviews scheduled for next week?
If we can, I think maybe just a 10-minute on each person, whatever, 15, whatever it takes. I think that's well worth doing. I mean, I'm not trying to clutter this up, but I don't wanna make a decision on,
sure.
on pedigree.
Right. Yeah, so the game plan was to do some interviews today, but we had additional, interested persons, so giving that person time to get some information together.
I think if we get the third one and we can arrange some kind of interviews next week, I think that would be good, and then we can make a decision also.
Okay, that sounds great. So, the last thing I have, but not the least and probably the most important, is Township Trustee Madison, which I'm sure everybody knows. I met with Levin last week, Wednesday, went over Deer Creek Comprehensive Land Use Plan, or the county comprehensive land use plan in regard to, Deer Creek Township. And this is a township that we've made changes multitude of times. And if everybody remembers, and let me, feel free to jump in at any point in time or correct me if I'm wrong. But we did have the public informational meeting and we had a map that was inaccurate, and some changes had been made, and then and Lennon had talked to a certain property owner, I called the property owner, and he said, yeah, no problem, keep it as is, because I'll probably annex into the city of London anyway. Well, then Lennon talked to him afterwards, and he was a little confused on what the property owner was a little bit confused on what property I was referring to. So he wants he'd like to see some changes, Deer Creek Township would like to see some changes. And we have basically two different areas, and Dennis, you feel free to jump in as well. It is the Spring Valley and 142 area. So that was ag in previous comp plan, now looking to move to PRD. When we first discussed that, as far as the commissioners go, it was brought up that that was not a focus area in the economic development strategic plan. So did we want to use that plan kind of as the basis of changes? So this is outside of those, that focus area, but I think the trustee has some valid points. And with that said, I'd like to hand that off to you so you can explain what the township's concerns are with leaving it agriculture and not PRD.
Okay, so the property that we're talking about now, and this property area has two different areas, but the one, you have to move down. The one down on Spring Valley Road, it begins at White Oaks Drive and goes, right there, and goes up to, not quite the railroad. There's another property owner owns property in there also. The property owner, when I talked to him originally, he wanted his holdings in PRD, which is from 142 south of the railroad, or south to the railroad. That one, yeah. If you click on it, see what all lights up.
Yeah, I'll just mark them with this,
Okay.
if you want to tell me which properties.
So that encompasses, it crosses the railroad and then it goes, comes back out to Spring Valley.
So you want me to mark that in there?
Yeah, mark that one. And then mark the two north of the railroad.
This one?
Yeah, that one. And then, yes, that one. So, we had, the property owner had asked us to change that to PRD. As you can see, it's contiguous with the city of London. And so this is the one that when he talked with Rob understood him to say, well, you can just leave that one, I was planning on annexing it in anyway. When I talked to the property owner, he thought that Rob was talking about the farm he had bought off of J.M. Brock, the old Bob Summers property, which is north of 142. So that's the one that he anticipated was going to remain as ag, and then he would just annex it in. So when I talked to him, and the reason that he said he had told Rob that is because he understood that you guys were getting some pushback on that, on changing it. And he wasn't ready to do anything with it anyway, so he didn't want you guys to have unnecessary pushback on it. But when I talked to him, he said the portion near White Oaks Drive makes sense to be residential because there's residential right next door to it. So he wanted that to stay in PRD, the section there in front of the creek, north of White Oaks Drive. He was fine with the back part staying in ag. So that's the second pin, the lower right. But he asked he was fine with that staying ag. So go ahead and take that out. Can you take that bit out?
I'm not sure I know how to do that, but it's small, but
Oh, it takes them all.
yeah,
I didn't know how your programs work. But so he was fine with that section staying ag, but he wanted the other three sections that previously had been, to stay in the PRD. So the one,
this one,
that one,
yeah, goes to the frontage.
and that one, now, you've got an extra pin in there, it's below the railroad.
Okay.
That property, the other property, both, doesn't belong to him.
Yeah. They can-
So those were the ones that he wanted to stay in PRD. My fear with this particular property owner is he owns the ground from Betty Wilson, on up clear to, north, and then the fields that are in sod farm now. And they're contiguous, and then he owns on the other side of Spring Valley next to Deer Run Lane. And all that is contiguous, and then to Bob Summers' old farm, and then also this down all the way through, circle back around to Plastic Drive. My fear is if all of this stays in ag against his wishes, that he could just annex it all. And we're looking at, I don't know, I could rob 1,500 acres, but it may only be 1,000. But that's still, several years ago, when the Fluky Farm went to West Jefferson, that was 1,000 acre back in one shot out of the township. And now we're looking at the possibility of doing it again, just because we've raised the ire of the property owner. That's the fear of the township. I know he said he doesn't have any plans for development at this time. But your 5 years is a long time when you build a deal as this particular property owner does.
So considering that there is a regional planning commission meeting tonight and the comp plan is on the agenda, right, Dennis?
Yes, sir.
I think we need some guidance from the commissioners at this point in time and what you want to see there.
There was one other property that you own too, north of the freeway.
Yeah, if we can, if you don't mind, just kind of,
Okay,
we'll focus in on that one next.
Okay.
But this one, because I think that one's an easy discussion because it is pretty much a focus area there. So you have the economic development strategic plan that supports that decision. This one, however, is a little different.
So basically what you're saying, if we don't support it, it's gonna be part of London.
that is my fear. And not just this one.
Well, it's not a fear, it's a reality. It can happen real quick.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have anything, we wouldn't have any input if they were in type 2. And if the type 2 is successful, which they nearly always are, then you guys wouldn't have any future input into it either. The city of London could allow anything they want in there. Now, he also mentioned the field that he owns just south of Deer Run Lane, that he could see another Deer Run Lane or more than one Deer Run Lane type projects going back, on-site sewer and water, 5-acre lots, so that there's not little cracker box houses, but the owner could build, a house, 2,500 square feet plus or whatever. And he said, I don't know how anybody could poke a hole in that, was his terminology, because Deer Run Lane is one of the nicer developments, subdivisions that we have. And that's what he envisions for that field. And he asked that it be, in PRD also.
But that's not contiguous to it.
It's contiguous to what was on, one of the current plans.
It's not contiguous to a current
All right,
No, it's not contiguous to a current. But it is contiguous to this proposal that Dennis has, and I'm not sure what's the date on this one, Dennis. 11/5. This one, and so was this the one that was at the meeting?
Yeah, that's the one.
So this is the one that was at the meeting.
You'd have to bring in other parcels to get to the other side.
Yes, he would have to do the two sod fields.
right.
And then there's, because of the row of houses on Spring Valley, he's missing, the contiguousy by, the depth of those houses. But the next field over, which is not his, it belongs to another property owner, not that, on down the road. That field, is not his. It keeps them from being contiguous, but it is on the November plan, for PRD. Not that that makes that much difference.
Yeah, so that would need to be changed to PRD in order for it to be rezoned, in order to have on-site septic and well. Is that a fair statement, Dennis?
Levin, do you have any insight as to why this is coming forward now? We've had multiple public forums.
Why it's coming to you guys now?
Well, why the request of changes now rather than when we presented it to the public?
It was, the changes were at the public meeting.
Those particular ones?
What's that?
Those particular changes were on the map that you,
On the,
okay, so
Yeah.
those were the ones that we weren't aware of, but they were up on the wall. Is that?
perhaps. Yeah, I think the answer to that. But that's,
Well, the ones still on the north side, I think. The other ones that we're about to discuss, but I believe these are the ones that, we had one individual that was very vocal about not having that change to PRD,
Not having which one?
these here
Let's bring that.
on Spring Valley. And that's kind of how we got over into the, well, should we change it being it's not in the focus area?
Okay, so those were the ones that were on that.
the individual that was at the meeting who was, vocal about that not being in the focus area was curious as to how that even got up for consideration. And I told him in a public meeting, I informed everybody that, when we talked about the comp plan, that I had gone to the property owners who were likely to have developmental pressure over the next 5 years. And he being one of them. I wasn't talking to him about these particular properties, but he, he basically wanted to discuss all of his properties in the township, which is what I was there for. So that's how that came. But he had made that request. He came to the PRD in the plan that was being proposed.
So I'm not able to see this link in what you sent me. It's just a map. It doesn't show. Can you zone out to see the entire township? Because there were some other questions north of
Yeah.
40. Have those been resolved? So if you,
No, those are on
Those
the
are-
agenda for today, so I was just kind of to eliminate any potential confusion of how do you want to handle this particular area? You know, like I said, the ones to the north, I think, are in economic development strategic plan, which therefore supports changing to what the property owner desires to have. This, however, is not in the strategic plan and how you want to weigh that. And then you have a township trustee that's, concerned with conserving his township and losing it to type 2 annexation. So with the regional planning commission having this on their agenda tonight for approval, if we can get this ironed out this morning, would be ideal. Because we do have a timeline set.
I hate to be incongruent in our plan, right? I hate to put together a plan strategic plan, identify growth corridors, and then update the comprehensive plan in a way that's contrary to that strategic plan or those economic development corridors. What I will say is I understand what Levin is saying, and we have supported townships in trying to preserve their township. Maybe we decide to take a look at our strategic plan, update our strategic plan, update our growth corridors, take a second look at that. And then maybe come back and update the comprehensive plan based on that strategic plan update. If the property owner is not looking to develop these particular properties immediately, maybe that's something we could look at next year to update even the strategic plan, because we are gonna get pushback. That's the first thing that people are gonna say, well, why have a strategic plan? Why have growth corridors? If you're gonna identify properties outside of those growth corridors, outside the strategic plan for growth and development, why come up with a plan if you're not going to stick to it? That's the immediate thing that property owners are gonna say to us, and they're gonna say, well, they're not in a growth corridor, I want you to put my property in BRD, even though I'm not in a growth corridor, because you did it here, so we're gonna get called out on that immediately. By everyone, and they're gonna say, well, I don't care, you did it here, you gotta do it for me, and I don't really want that, so I would say, if anything, we go back a year from now, we got a new economic development director in, maybe she can help us take a look at our strategic plan with the Montrose group, potentially update the growth corridors if we think, hey, maybe there's an area or two that is feeling development pressure that we need to add, and do that, and then that may result in an update to the comprehensive plan, especially if the property owner is not looking to immediately develop.
That was a statement that he made.
Yeah, so maybe we could do that in the next year or two, and that would satisfy, I think, everyone.
What year was that strategic plan put together? Is that 2022?
22.
Yeah,
That was pre-water and sewer regionalization.
It was. Yeah.
It's just really changed the entire dynamic of this great conversation, right?
Yeah, but I'm pretty confident that it was taken into
Like
consideration.
these parcels we're talking about right now, back before we regionalized, the only option for water and sewer was been in.
Sure.
Right? So you brought up the Fuji parcel, the rub on that was, back then, that was part of the county's golden triangle.
Sure.
Right? And it was part of the 208 plan that the county had. That was the rub with, of course, the Fuji's weren't sure they could get served by the county at that time. But anyway, my point being, conditions have changed since the strategic plan was developed that are really impacting these decisions.
Correct. It may warrant an update as I'm speaking to you. Yeah.
And I'm gonna echo what he said. We got a plan, we stick with it for now, we can revisit it.
Yeah, you mentioned 5 years. I mean, the last update was 2022, as we said. I don't think anyone envisions that's gonna be 5 more years before it's revisited, so.
In the past, that was typically what it was 5 years, but probably makes sense to update it sooner than that, considering development pressure that we're experiencing.
Yeah, I think with the no, you're fine, go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was gonna say it's the same thing as on the resolution. Every year we always want to look back at it and see what needs to be revised. Comp plan's the same thing. There's things that change, so we couldn't get out and wait too long and then all of a sudden we lose the plan.
Would that be a reasonable solution, Levin? We'd like to update their strategic plan, update the growth corridors in 2026, maybe do a slight comprehensive plan update maybe in 2027, because we are going to look at the comprehensive plan every couple of years now, just given the development pressure, given the fact that we're working on a regional water and sewer plant, there are changing dynamics. Maybe that can be a solution where everybody's happy.
Changes do definitely happen faster now than they did 10, 15
Yes,
years.
yeah, we're not waiting to do things 5, 10 years,
But that's what I knew, that,
Yeah.
The comprehensive plan, we looked at it every 5 years and
Yeah.
then something doesn't even get changed. So it changes.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you're thinking that we're gonna go to a 2-year comprehensive plan, I think this property owner would be satisfied.
okay.
I don't look for that to trigger, of annexation.
And that'll give us a chance to, like I said, to look at that strategic plan, look at the growth corridors again, maybe there's some we wanna take out, maybe there's some we wanna add based on pressure, based on conversations that we're having with, with development community, so it'll give us an opportunity, 4 years later to update that, given, a lot has changed.
Water sources like in the city of London, like. I guess felt blocked by the,
Not bad.
thing right now. These, intentions and the fact we're looking at a traffic impact study to extend, roads over through here to get.
Yeah.
So that's within the city of London, but,
Yeah.
we're signal oriented in the view with the city and the developer. Of planning out those roadways. Point being, there's some land to be developed.
Before you come out that far.
Yeah, there's some work to be done before it gets to those properties, which I think gives us the time to update our plans and be prepared for that. I think that makes the most
And it
sense.
doesn't sound like it's pressing. If we're talking 5 years.
And I don't think it'll take.
I just wanted to get these
Right.
issues out, off to that property.
Right.
And just kind of clear the air.
Yeah, we want you to, we want you to have the ability to preserve your township, and that is the nice thing about having Mid-Ohio, having utilities that are not controlled by one, entity, so to speak, that gives you an opportunity to preserve your township and have development in the township and generate some revenue for the township, so we're happy to help you all with that endeavor, but we gotta stay consistent in our planning, or we're gonna be called out for it immediately for that inconsistency.
Okay, so this map as is what will be submitted to regional planning until we get to it. And the same with this property here next, we're gonna leave that ag then for now.
Yes.
Eagles, that's good. So the property next, so we're leaving, the property next to Deer Run ag as well.
So sorry.
This property here, next to Deer Run.
That one there, Dennis thinks it might have already been in PRD.
Yeah, so this plan here, that is already PRD in this plan. So the ones we we're just talking about were ag in this plan, those properties were already PRD. Now, those were along 40, 42, maybe those are more. See if we get a finance.
This was, this was one instead, but this is.
Yeah, so in 2022, it was ag, 2025. What was at the public meeting, that was changed probably to PRG. It's difficult to track when these changes were made.
That property, I mean, it was theirs. But I never really got to find the word.
Was that air conditioning you turned on?
Yeah. This there, what I have, 2022, this is pretty good. Everything.
Well, there's so many proposed at this point in time, it's difficult to track. And we need to, I don't know if there's dates on this map, so I don't.
On the bottom. On the bottom, there's a date.
But we may be able to track that changes by the dates of what happened.
This is the one head of the town hall.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, so that had whole property, we've been discussing, that had as PRD. Yes. It also had the Spring Valley properties as PRD. Question is, was this already in PRD? Or was that added as well? Do you know? We don't.
It looks like,
I mean, I can tell you what it was.
because I didn't.
Previous comp plan was not PRD. The previous was ag, that was ag.
Yeah, I mean, that map should be accurate as to the current, the last conflict.
Yeah, there's 2022.
Now, is this area, I mean, does it come off, and I know the road corridor is kind of surround, but the major road, so like when that comes down, the road corridor comes down 42, how wide is it? I mean, does it get this wide? Or
There's your growth corridor right there, teal colored line there to your north. So let me zoom out.
So it's,
So there's your growth corridor.
so it starts with further road.
So this is, I don't, we don't go along 42 at all.
No. To the north we do, to Plain City.
Then we probably should put that in there either.
I agree.
It's not really in the growth corridor. As currently defined.
No, that growth corridor is just kind of arbitrarily drawn, you know.
Well, it is, but we gotta be. I'm not saying we can't expand it, but like I said, we're gonna get people to do this and, well, my property's not in the growth corridor. Please put my property in PRD.
Yeah, I've already received those.
Yeah, people have already made those requests. So I think that property needs to stay ag until we once again do reconsider the comprehensive, or not, reconsider the strategic plan, strategic growth corridors in 2026. Maybe come back in 2027 and do a slight update to the comprehensive land use plan.
All right, well, that may throw a little bit of a wrench then into the property.
You guys agree with that?
About,
The next.
Which is coming, you know, doing an update to the strategic plan next year, potentially updating those growth corridors, and then maybe coming back in 2027 and doing an update of the comprehensive plan if we feel there's property that need to be added based on that new strategic plan.
yeah, and I think state defining the growth corridors is vital and not putting something in there that's not in the corridors. So that other one,
I'm fine with going to these property and tell them that.
But it's good to know that,
It's not in the roof corridor, if it's not in the corridor, it's not up for consideration at this point. There's a plan to do another one in 2 years.
So so these are gonna stay ag,
Yep.
and then let them help me out with these here.
Everything outside of the growth corridor will remain what it was in 2022.
Offspring.
I know
where I'm applying.
Yeah, you're looking at the old,
I'm looking at the old company.
old cost standard.
Yeah. All right, Levin, so we have some properties here, and Dennis, you may have some input here as well. So the same property owner owns property,
North of the freeway on Lafayette, Point City.
yeah, so.
It's on down, it's further down, one of the borders of the freeway.
Right next to it.
Yeah, next to
Right here,
Yeah, that, one, yeah,
okay, so they would like to have that changed to
PRD.
PRD. All right, that is in a
Clearly inside.
clearly inside a growth board.
And the reason that he, identified for that is, that it will soon, it has gas service now and electric, of course, and it will soon have, the ability to have sewer and water. Because of its proximity to the sewer plant.
so I just want to make sure I understand what you want. So the map that was originally submitted is north of the blue line, the teal line.
That's the one I was talking about, made for arranging things.
So
So you got this property, right, Levin?
Yes, the one where you, but not where the arrow is, but where you got to get.
So you got this property clearly inside.
When I talked to that property owner, he said he was fine with that staying as ag.
This one?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that property owner said he was fine with that staying at. He also owns some that's below 70, but he did want to remain in PRD.
Now, the other one that's below,
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
So I'm fine with that being PRD if they want to.
Well,
He touches it, that's good enough for me.
he,
There,
he said he was fine with it, with staying in
say
that.
that, good, keep it at.
but the other one, that wasn't in the map. That
I'm
was
sorry.
the one. Chris, can you,
At the town hall.
That's this,
You done this one?
that's
the one below with the pin,
that,
Yeah,
right? That's never been on any map that I've seen. That's never been,
it is, it's on that map.
is that the map that was
that's
presented?
the map that was in the township.
That was the map that's like, that's that property.
Yeah.
PRD, that was PRD, that's like that small. They were all basically, it's the ones we discussed first, the ones we just discussed, and then these two, were all PRD at that meeting. But we're saying these are outside the green corridor, I think these are in the group. But they're saying they want this to stay. So that would be ag, these would be ag, these are.
Yes, I think that. Hello, Doug. I'm at the commissioner's office. Hello?
Unbelievable.
Yes, that was good. Yeah.
That it, Roberto?
So,
Paving the bridge today,
There's the consent check.
when she got called me, I thought I'd probably better.
So 11 is about the only one then?
Yes,
Okay, so that one will go to PRD.
Yes.
And that's,
yeah, I just wanted to bring up the corridor that connects basically the truck stop area all the way to Twin City. So that's a pretty long, extensive corridor, and I don't believe there's anything in there that's been changed or that's been identified as PRD in right now. So, I mean, does that even need to be in this plan as a growth corridor? Because my understanding is this is used to update zoning, right? But if we haven't identified anything in there, in this plan, that's, you know, plan residential, why would we keep that in there?
Yeah, you're taking along 42 all the way to Plain City.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. I mean, because I think the idea, the concept is to concentrate the growth around these bubbles, right? And then gradually span out, try to corral the growth to there. But having that long strip right now, when we have nothing identified, I
I don't think the long strip makes sense either, but I think once again, we probably need to just update that, remove that, amend that as part of our strategic plan update that we're contemplating doing next year, right?
yeah.
And I don't think we have any parcels that are requested to change right now in that corridor.
which is why I think doing that now.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect anyone. I just think it's more, it just makes more sense because it could, someone still could try to change their zoning.
Sure.
Pointing to that growth corridor, even though it's not been updated already.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna go anymore, right? Because there's no changes.
So, planning, economic development, growth, you should look at it, follow the property lines and see how far out you want to be. Instead of cutting between property lines and, well, I guess it could be.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when they did the strategic plan, I was just drawn in there as a focus area. Not necessarily, yeah, it didn't have any teeth necessarily, like the comp plan does or zoning does. But they could certainly snap that to partial boundaries.
Yeah,
Or or Val could, or Paul, or whoever wants to do that, I mean, we could certainly do that, and eliminate that corridor altogether. Or, you know, or push it out maybe to 29 and finish it, end it there.
Well, sure, that would still be more of a bubble.
Sure.
But I think having the big, long strip.
Yeah.
When it doesn't impact anyone, it kind of, to me, is incongruous with our state.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that.
Around.
Yeah,
That's a, really expansive area.
Sure. No, I don't disagree. I was just giving you some information
I
on
understand.
how
Yeah.
the strategic plan focus areas were kind of drawn in there.
Well, the regional planning board hasn't had this for discussion yet before them. So like you said, now's the time. I mean, that would be my proposal, would just be to limit it down to 29, that corridor. And then on the Plain City side, I don't know if there's,
Yeah, now as far as the strategic plan goes, I mean, that's just in there for,
That's what they do.
yeah, it's just in there for,
comp plan.
no, it's not part of the.
No, it's not part of the comp plan. It's another plan that they do. So the plan that comes in tonight's comp plan, so we can approve it, amended that next year, we will fix the strategic planning. And then the second year, we'll fix all the comp plan altogether.
Yeah, the strategic, the economic strategic plan is more of our internal document, like an
Yeah.
internal guiding document, whereas the comprehensive plan is more of a public document.
Right, if I said the strategic, maybe I meant the comp plan, but that corridor going all the way out to Plain City, that's in our comp plan.
No,
No, it's strategic plan.
I have the comp plan right up before.
well, that's just,
The comp plan does identify,
it,
which I think line up with the strategic plan.
Correct.
And it makes for, instead of almost competing maps,
Yeah.
there, because some people look at that strategic, the growth corridors and the strategic plan and go, okay,
yeah,
that's the comp plan. And I'm like, no, you gotta go to the actual comp plan maps in the back.
Yeah.
That's the comp plan.
That's
that's,
the comp plan. It's like the comp plan here, but that doesn't show the strategic core.
But you're using all those strategic
Corridors to inform,
to guide where the changes get made to.
yeah, but on the actual comprehensive maps, there's not like, you don't see the growth corridor on this map.
right,
Well, let's define our terms then. So my understanding of the comp plan, it's on our website. It's listed as 2022 comp plan. And it's how many page document, 153 page document. Within that comp plan is the maps.
The maps, yeah, the strategic growth corridors are in the comp plan, yes, but they are not on the land use maps. Those are also different terms too. So you have the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan does define or does identify those strategic growth corridors, but on your land use map, the land use map doesn't specifically call out those growth corridors.
yeah.
So when we pass a resolution approving these, are we approving just the maps,
Correct.
not the document?
Correct.
That seems to be a problem then, because the document is still on the website and the document will be different from what we've approved. So don't we have to do them as one and the same? I mean, what do we do with this document? Does it
Well,
go
the document, we took solar out of that document, so we could take reference to the strategic plan out of the document altogether. The strategic plan is a tool to help with the comprehensive land use planning. Help make decisions on the designation, but when it comes to zoning, it's these individual parcels and what their preferred use is. So regardless, it's not roads, it's not the strategic plan, it's not anything else. And this is just an internal tool that we built for able to share this information with the decision makers and council trustees and so forth, so on. So the document itself will be these maps.
So I'm not talking about the tool. I'm talking about the 2022 comprehensive plan,
Right,
which is on our website, 153 page document.
right.
When we vote, we're just voting on these maps. And then what happens? Does this document just stay as is? Or does the document include the new maps?
when it happens,
Whatever you.
Well, if that's what we're doing, then doesn't it make sense to update to have our vote be on the document rather than just the maps? Because there's other things in the document that when we change the maps will need to be updated as well.
To me, it's all done.
I agree.
Because we got things in the document say, like, how we enforce drainage requirements, all kinds of things like that. That's part of the document, and that's what people ask for our authority, and as I say, well, this is the authorities in the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, but if we're updating the comprehensive plan, which includes the language maps, and we're updating the entire document, because we are removing some language from the document, as well as updating the plans that are part of the map.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's why if we're doing that, I mean, I don't see an issue if we wanted to remove that big long strip. Because I think we're gonna be doing other changes, not just the maps. There's gonna be other things to align with the maps. That's my own point. And I just wanted to make sure I was clear because I know this is gonna come up with
yeah.
regional planning. There's gonna be confusion about, is it the document, is it the maps?
And there was last time, and this, the 2022 comprehensive land use plan document was much more expansive than any plans before. And that is because we went out to MKSK, hired a company to basically update the comprehensive land use plan, add a lot of information to it and so forth, so on. So we could update the strategic plan quickly, removing that corridor, replacing it with the bubble, and then put that into the comprehensive land use plan, as well as remove solar and maybe some of the other language. Is that kind of what you're leaning towards?
Well, solar has already been removed.
Sure.
So that's already been removed.
Right.
I want to do a quick update to the plan.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's been 4 years.
Yeah. We take all language regarding the strategic plan out of the comprehensive land use plan document. I'm trying to figure out a way to see.
Look, I think eventually we do want to remove that corridor from, that goes all the way from London to Plain City. But if we update the maps and no parcels are changing, really having that corridor defined in there doesn't do anything. Doesn't matter. Because none of the parcels have changed. None of the individual parcels have changed. So if we come back and we do this update in 2 years, and we remove that corridor from the comprehensive plan, it'll no longer be there. Next time we go to update the maps, people won't be able to request a change to their parcel because it's in this growth corridor. I don't think anybody now is making that request anyway, so really it's a moot point. Because nobody's asking for any change to that growth corridor now anyway.
Yeah, but I think then we start from a place of it's already been removed as opposed to maybe people don't want it to be removed or some property owners don't want it to be removed. They haven't made the request yet, but if we leave it on there now, I think that request is more likely and then it becomes more difficult to remove it. So my point is procedurally, I don't see the issue with removing it now. And I think it only helps start fresh next time. And
But it slows down the process at all. This has been taking way too long. We haven't really even discussed, deliberated, removing that corridor. Now they're going to approve the document tonight, have a meeting tonight. We're gonna introduce a whole entire concept of like, we want you to update this comprehensive plan and remove an entire corridor. I just don't know if that slows us down, or it takes us another 2 months to get to the finish line, when we've already taken months to get to the finish line.
well, just to be clear, I think there's gonna be concerns tonight because the focus at the regional planning has not been the comp plan. It's been the zoning amendment. So that's not what's been being discussed over months. It's been the zoning amendment. So I think when they go to sink their teeth into this, I think there's gonna be questions. I mean, it's been out there, so it's not, but my experience is that body likes to be very deliberative and likes to take time. And so I just don't see them just sitting down. I mean, I see how long it's taken for the zoning amendment. I don't think they're gonna go on day one, hearing one with the comp plan and say, yeah, we pass it. I don't think that's gonna be the case anyway. So,
they haven't previously considered the comp plan at all.
no, tonight's their first review of it.
Not as a regional plan, we have not. It's never been on our agenda.
So looking back, this was a minor update to the comprehensive plan with 4 townships making changes,
Making minor changes.
making minor changes.
Most townships making only 2, 3, 4 changes to the map.
Yeah, so
And
0.
removing some language regarding solar. I mean, that was supposed to be the comprehensive plan
Yeah,
update
that was the scope.
of 2025. That was the scope. Is to change 3 to 4 parcels in 4 townships and to remove some language regarding solar. That was the scope. And it's taken a year to get that done.
But on the solar issue, I don't think we needed this process. We didn't feel like we needed this process to remove solar because we passed a resolution. So solar was already removed and the updated document on the website doesn't have the solar anymore. So that's not part of the process. I think it's the maps. It's really the,
And that's where we get the input for that.
Right.
Yes, and that is a longer process to do that.
Yeah.
It's great.
so I just thought if we had the authority to remove solar just by a resolution, then I would think we'd have the authority before it's even been considered by regional planning to just narrow those corridors and just eliminate that stretch. That's my,
Sure.
that's my.
Let's do it.
I guess
Just get the Sharpie out.
Just do it.
so
Just do it. Remove it.
we're removing the strategic plan from the comprehensive plan.
I don't think we're going to remove it.
Okay, no, I'm sorry, I'm confused.
We just need to remove that one part. Just get it out.
Okay, so we're gonna
Eliminate.
update that shapefile.
That map,
Which
which
is a component of the map.
yeah, but that shows that growth corridor on 42 from London to Plain City.
Okay.
Remove it permanently. Obliterate it.
And so you're okay with your changes then, Levin?
I am, I got received a phone call from, a property that might be concerned about it, and, I don't know. What, I'll give him a call over there. But I am satisfied that is the answer. Changes were allowed within those identified growth corridors. And changes outside of that will be considered in 2 years in an additional plan.
Okay.
There might be some parcels in Jefferson that are impacted by this growth corridor change.
Yeah, we should probably look at that.
No, okay. I might be
I
better.
think there were, well, I may have next one or two, but
I thought there was a couple parcels.
Yeah, there is again, the development that's coming in along 42. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big old, residential community they want to build.
But that's not in the corridor, even previously. It's in the strip.
It's in the screens, it goes the city. So if you stop the corridor at 29, it's still impact.
Can we pull that up?
Yeah, Brian, help me out.
Just that.
Here you go, Brad.
I get points.
You can point,
Okay,
you can point with the best of them.
I might be, yeah.
Where are we looking?
I thought Jefferson had been talking to this property, right?
I'm sure they have been, yes.
This one,
Yes.
where's our magic?
So where's those?
am I in my
Let's
place?
see if we can throw the corridor. Yeah, so that's in.
Yes, so if you pan down,
Down?
yeah. Yeah, that little dark. Yeah, there we are. So it'd be that.
These PRDs here.
The one across from this Byron Mill.
You guys know all the roads better than I do. So.
But I don't know what that, if it was on the map when that was presented at the meeting.
So this,
Yeah,
well, we're talking about eliminating that course.
but if you eliminate that corridor at 29, you would block out.
Yeah.
That particular part.
One of the concerns I have, and we discussed at public forum, was the leapfrogging development. I mean, that's, is it Mr. Ham who talked about that, this concept of leapfrogging. The spot, yeah, spot zone. This doesn't change zoning, but it does appear to be that, it's this leapfrogging of it. It's not contiguous with anything else.
So you want to change that without the townships that are involved knowing about it?
in Jefferson?
Yeah.
So you're saying that was in their map? Well, I mean, we could consider expanding the bubble above there, I suppose. I mean,
Yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah, just do it. No. Cover. 9 and 42 area like this. The larger bubble, go up to like here, cover all of this, 42, 29, 70, and just do a giant bubble.
When do you want it to go to Taylor Blair? Is that kind of your? Want to be at the demarcation?
I mean, for now, I would go off of what we have. Just use the property we have. I mean, it's a bubble that makes sense, and I don't know that we don't have any requests to go up that
Yeah.
far, so I don't know that we need to right now, and that might be for the future, but.
Okay, so this green line here, which is your focus area per se. We're gonna take this out to the north. Where do you want the bubble to? To end, that's what I'm saying. What's the northwestern or northeastern boundary? That you want to use?
Well, I was thinking that parcel that the trustees have identified,
Was it this
300 acre parcel.
Brian?
No, it's right there, right there.
Okay, this one. So this one. Out there.
That's what I got.
Yeah, so we're gonna, Dennis, you got a mental note of that, or we're gonna.
That's okay, because
This is a township.
This is, yeah, okay, because I know there's a development, I just see a concept plan for a development along 42. So not only this one, but there's another one that I had downstairs. So I mean, you remove that, that's the problem, because they want to develop.
where's this one at?
I had a concept plan downstairs, I can see if I can get it.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just to see where that's at.
And one thing to keep in mind, the strategic plan is a tool. It doesn't have any teeth, but it is a tool if you want to use it for reference.
Is it fair to say, though, that if it's something's in the strategic plan and a property owner then wants to rezone, you can't really say, well, no, you can't rezone because it's already been identified.
Well, I would say,
It's more than a tool in that sense.
I would say you'd have to refer to the
The
comprehensive.
map on the comprehensive plan is what controls it. The map on the comprehensive plan says it's ag, whether or not it's in a strategic growth corridor or not, does not matter. If it's identified as ag in the comprehensive land use plan, even if it's in a strategic growth corridor, it doesn't matter. That parcel is still identified as ag, they can't rezone.
So what's the point of the growth corridors?
That's just to show, it's just to show kind of what the areas that we're focused on, where we want to control growth and economic development. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change the comprehensive map right away. It's just based on not like we've identified these growth corridors. Now we have to change every parcel in those growth corridors. I mean, that doesn't make sense either, because you still want to be strategic. You still want to have conversations with the township. You still want to have conversations with the property owners. But just putting it in a strategic focus area, that's kind of just letting the community know, hey, we're keeping development limited to these areas. These are the areas that we're focusing on growth and economic development, and also informs developers of where there are opportunities for growth and development. So that's the thing. You want to be able to tell developers, hey, this is where we're limiting our growth and development. So if you're interested in coming to Madison County, these are the areas that it's going to be limited to. So that's what it is too. I mean, to inform us, but also to inform, the development community larger about where growth and development is going to occur within the county. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you immediately have to change a parcel just because it's in that growth corridor.
So if you inform the development community, this area's been identified the process for them would be, well, it's been identified, but those parcels haven't been updated yet. So stay tuned or come engage with the process in the next year or 2 years. Is that kind of what you envision?
Yeah, and then calls from a property owner, right, as we said,
Yeah.
and they came to the township and said, hey, we're interested in developing, we're interested in doing business in Madison County. Well, here's what we're interested in doing, if it's something you're interested in, would you be willing to update the comp plan? And go through a zoning process, I mean, that's kind of the way it's supposed to work.
And I think the reason that one was originally put in that way is because of the water and sewer.
Yeah.
Potential.
Yeah.
Through it.
But I do think it's important to have those strategic growth corridor areas, even if they are not immediately changing parcels, because once again, it does inform the development community of where we're visiting our growth, that we're open to growth and development, but it's gotta be limited to these areas. And I do think that is important to identify those areas.
So you can see this parcel here is actually split by this shapefile. This boundary, so,
But it's just a.
yeah, it's just, to Chris's point, these are the areas that are not.
I think the reason that it's there is because the sewer water project is going to potentially open up that whole corridor. So even though there's no action there now, there could well be in the next 2 to 5 years.
But I also get the objections from some members of the public saying, well, hey, I wanna put this in PRD. It's like, well, one, you're gonna have to wait a couple of years for utilities, and two, do you wanna have just some random, one here, one there, I get that concern too, of just having random parcels identified as PRD as well.
But I get served all along 42 corridor 2 is how far we would allow to branch off. I remember bringing up, it's the thing that's caused, things that has caused, the unincorporated areas not to develop subdivisions and whatnot, it's been water and sewer. Okay, now we have water and sewer up 42. Now we allowing subdivisions, on any of those county and township roads that spring off there. And I'm not saying I'm against it, but it's a slippery slope, where are we going here with Creighton County?
Yeah.
So now I'm unclear as to what you're asking us to do. So got the changes in Jeffrey Township. He's okay with that.
We just got the one change.
You just have the one change. Dennis is going down.
I think we're literally talking about that changing 1 or 2 parcels in these townships.
What do you want to present to regional planning tonight? As far as the document, the map? Are we going to edit the corridor? Are we leaving it as is?
I'm removing the corridor, but we do need to have a discussion on where those kind of, if we're doing nubs, if we're doing, this, if we're doing just a wider circle, I do think we want to include some around, state route 29 and 42, and it's not gonna just be, I think we do this as an area of growth. And so we gotta decide on how far we want that to go. I don't disagree. We've talked about this before, about maybe not making sense to have that corridor all the way from Bunker to Erie. So it's a outside of it. It's on Converse stuff. We're gonna Converse stuff soon.
Converse House, the way for the.
Yeah, that's what saying.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, that's almost better.
It's up for my school.
before we do this real quick. Okay, you remember which parcel needs to be changed? So we can have that change that, if you can mark that.
We have that map.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Alright. I was just looking at the 2022 there real quick, so. Alright, where am I at?
You got the parcel number, Dennis?
Well, it is the Converse House, up in the city, Rob.
Yeah, my food are all messed up here, I think, but I'm not sure. Brian, are you any better at this than I am?
Let me do it.
You're on tour.
Well, I don't think it's a tablet.
I'm having Madison, pretty,
It's more of a selection.
Fashion.
Next to the sewer.
I think it's more of a program.
and button.
Well, that's what I can't find, that everybody does it, right?
I remember that stuff.
See, I select anything with my problem, so.
I remember that picture quite well.
This is real.
Of course, now you got, the payment right to bill, so
Yeah, they would be in their own
the
company.
board eventually stops anyway. Or, breaks between the freeway and what else. I'm looking at it.
It's part of the shit one. I know.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, yeah, because it shows us two properties, there's really one.
So my hand button just stopped working.
That's PRD. Okay. Probably a lot of it, like, PRD, right?
Yes, but now, I've got all down talking about just the property though. And this map reflects all the property owners that I talked to. It was, this, I did for this, and I did address that. When Julia came to our township meetings, it was, yes, it's that.
Okay, PRD, but, and then removing these, we're removing this.
Well, I think the decision that you guys had made was to put it back in 2022.
So,
Yeah. This property owner, wanted this in PRD also. Now, some of it was already, a single family public sewer and water. But, he had requested to change it to PRD. See, that's this triangle, and then also that one. And then he also wanted this, well, he said it was already, yeah, so everything he had was already. So I guess that wouldn't have to be PRD, that's not that big of a change, but I'm gonna have to inform him that there's no changes outside of the corridor, but I think that might be in for that,
So it is going to be in the,
it might be in for.
pull that back up there for a second.
Well, where's your own, it's in this thing?
Yeah.
Well, I think we want to do Converse off now for this.
Yeah, yeah.
This current development.
Where's Converse built up?
Not walk out of here.
No, right outside of Plain City. Yeah.
There it is, you got it.
Yeah.
Might be outside, so I think it's this here. Yeah. Okay. It's on the side, I think it's this here. I just want to make sure before we start making changes.
Well, they have not in it anyway.
Yep. So that's when another subdivision will come through.
And they're not in it.
Well, I think they're waiting, they're trying to hope, they're hoping that these people will, so that they can annex in. But this is already annexed right here. That's that other subdivision.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen with this?
But didn't we, I thought, no, maybe, but didn't we show on the map, kind of like this, did it go like this at some point?
I don't remember that. I remember the wages.
I don't think that's necessarily the best, it's better for Darby.
That's straight line into Darby Township lines.
So they met with Darby Township or Dennis and Alvin with Darby Township.
But I thought Darby Township reflected more changes outside of just this little nut here.
Yeah, I mean, this was like red here.
Do we have a proposal for Darby Township by chance?
It should be. It should be on
The resolution, those are all just, yeah, brother, if we have a proposed map for Darby Township.
It should be a map later from like 2025.
Yeah, that's 2025, what you see.
I've talked to them.
Oh,
I think,
Obviously,
at least that's what.
That's not the sense.
Well, I've talked to them.
And he's,
He was happy that they went all that. Really stuff coming out of it and keep it.
So I voted not for Darby Township, the old ones.
Mine since 3 days.
So it.
No, I mean, this is what I've,
Oh, that's it.
I think changing this is going to confuse me.
Let me get my laptop.
Anybody,
Thank you, sir.
we're talking about that, it's going to be difficult. Still have to move.
Oh, that's right.
This will confuse them.
Yeah, we gotta leave soon anyway.
Everybody got something.
What time do you have to leave? No
Well, the funeral's in a month.
budget?
so, yeah, I'm not having the general fund, but we still planned on going over the, outside the general fund budget. Which I suppose we could push that off till next Tuesday too. I mean, I'm okay with that.
could regional planning consider this at the Thursday meeting? Well, that's a special meeting where the agenda's already been set.
24 hours, you can adjust it.
So regional planning is having a regular scheduled meeting tonight. And that's to discuss 3 cases and the zoning amendment. And then the special meeting, I'm sorry, and the comp plan.
Correct, yes.
The special meeting is Thursday, and that's the zoning.
Yes.
So I just wonder if you could push the comp plan, because if we think the comp plan will be more simple, and you just push that back.
And combine comp plan and zoning amendment into the one meeting.
I don't know. I mean, if we don't think we're ready today.
Your notices have gone out several times to papers, changing dates.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive to keep doing that.
It's fair. And I think there'll be discussion tonight. There might not be action anyway.
There's a ditch hearing next weekend,
Weekend.
next week, park board meeting. And there's a lot,
That it?
the Versati, the blood dry, she's just gonna come and talk for a few minutes, so, but that's it. Final ditch hearing and the park board.
It's the right. We own everybody. Guess not. We own something here.
Yes.
Just gave them a reason myself.
20 years, my budget hasn't been approved until the last meeting of the year, so.
I had high hopes, Brian, high hopes. They worked
But
hard.
it changes. So,
Merry Christmas.
Let's do that. That's all.
There's a man stuck the needle in you. There he is. He said, I'm coming to get him.
I'm scared.
Killer dog.
Go for the throat.
Where you gonna teach them how to walk on a leash?
Oh, I got a leash. I'm walking at home.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I do in places I won't. You know.
The monster.
Very cute dog.
Okay.
Kiss him.
We do.
We already did, I already got plenty of licks.
Your kid had ball this.
Certainly.
He loves kids. You know, he's already barking at him at home going through the fence. You know,
You're like, don't tell on me. He was going right at you like.
let's go, they got a meeting going.
We need to see George.
Because it was an e-note in that, she got the updated, third.
Can we do resolutions while we wait?
Green.
Sterilization, that's always.
Tony, can you remember who that guy is? The one I talked Eric into a puppy weekend? I just breeder.
What? You got the answer?
Can you remember who that guy is? When I talked to him?
Great.
You drive, I'm not trying to say you to the left, but it's not certain, I've heard that make changes. All Walter's.
Yeah, you're right.
Just done this as well.
Theirs isn't just.
The Val sent me the last problem.
There'll be times when it's too bad.
You have an electronic copy, would you be able to say it? Thank you.
Well, we want to give a bow today and. So. So you just can't get sleeping, huh?
Yeah, not from here. That's what I got. Val sent it to me through email.
Maybe what, yeah, while they're working on that, let's go ahead and. Approve the resolutions that we have to consider.
A resolution approving the payment of invoices for the Madison County Auditor.
So
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution adjusting the Madison County Coroner's budget.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus? Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the Madison County Sheriff's 2025 annual fund reimbursements and budget increases.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving a transfer of funds from the Madison County Court of Common Pleas.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution increasing appropriations to the Law Library online research expense line.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the second amendment to the 2022 local agricultural easement purchase program cooperative agreement between the Ohio Department of Agriculture and the Madison County Commissioners.
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus? Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the second amendment to the 2023 local agricultural easement program purchase program cooperative agreement between the Ohio Department of Agriculture and the Madison County Commissioners.
So moved, I believe it's 25, isn't it? Or is it 23?
23, 22 and 23.
Sorry.
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving an increase of appropriations for the 2024 CDBG Neighborhood Revitalization Grant Program.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the Madison County Memorandum of Understanding to address child abuse and neglect required by HB 4.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution adjusting the 2025 expense budget for the Madison County Recorder.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution amending resolution 35725 and approving a fund transfer and appropriation increase for the Madison County Sheriff's Office EMA MPG fund.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the 2025 budget adjustment for the Madison County Sheriff's Office.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus? Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the CASA Director Grant Revenue and Appropriation to the CASA Training account. It's not worded right, but they're moving some money.
So moved.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the felony delinquency care and custody grant budget for January 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2026. This will also be included, but into your out of general fund budget, but if you want to, it's not something we can change or you can change, so you can wait to approve it now.
Move to approve.
Amy, can you restate what you said?
This budget is included in the out of general fund budget, but it's all grant funds and it's set, so it's not something that the commissioners can change. So you can approve it now, but you'll also be approving it as part of the whole action then.
Okay, yeah, second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes. That's mid.
That's all I have other than the budgets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same. We're using the same app. So, Mr. Lawrence,
Mr. Slattery.
the southern piece of township. So Val says these are the changes. that we received.
Yes, those are the changes.
Okay.
So what do you think we saw?
Maybe, what is the one time? I agree. Maybe I just don't know what that. I'm just not familiar with what that color is.
There appears to be the PID.
Conservation subdivision. Not PRD.
I think that's the only thing we just had there. Just colors.
Yeah, I think in conservation.
Yeah.
Like clear-ish right now.
Yeah, conservation, so
What's the green? The teal, whatever it's called.
the RD.
Yeah, using the dark green.
Yes.
No, here it's not.
Yeah, ag's light green. Yarby's kind of a green.
So the green with maps, if it's the dark green.
Yeah, the shade green.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, that's fine.
good.
Makes sense. So with that property that he's discussing, it is. But it wouldn't qualify, it's in plan 7. Right?
Yeah,
It's conservation,
conservations.
subdivision, so that thing that's being proposed would be,
That's what they're proposing.
yeah,
Okay, so here's your 2022. Yeah, and here's your 2025, those have all been changed. Going back to your focus areas, that's outside of the focus area. If that is in the criteria.
yeah, I know Derby Township very much wants those changes. That was my concern, it's just that little nug there, going into Derby Township, that's all the growth corridor we're showing in Derby Township. Derby Township is obviously gonna experience, is already experiencing growth and development correctly. I mean, that just that little nub along here doesn't make sense.
Again, you know, strategic plan is just a plan, it doesn't have any teeth.
Oh, it's just guidance, oh, I know.
It's a guide.
Yeah, but we're using that criteria to decide what goes in, what goes out, and so that's a challenge, because you've made other denials based on that basis. To me, it makes more sense to slightly redraw the growth corridor to include something that's contiguous, if we think it makes sense and the trustees are advocating for it, than it does to say we'll change the designated land use even when it's outside the growth corridor. Because it's right up against it, you could.
Dennis, Commissioner Shea had a thought about maybe moving the comp plan from tonight to your special meeting. To give us more time to maybe make some changes.
It's saying nothing too much for them.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they need to be separate.
yeah, I understand. I just thought if it's not ready to go.
If it's not ready to go, then we can always push it back, push our votes back on the comp plan.
Yeah.
too. I mean, I don't think we're
Yeah,
any specific deadline, certain deadline.
I mean, I think that's worth considering too, because if this ends up being a big discussion tonight, and then we turn around on Thursday, I mean, right now the focus is, and has been, the zoning amendment. So I always felt that doing them one at a time
Isn't a bad idea.
isn't.
But isn't tonight's published in the paper and everything? We've been burning a lot of money publishing these.
Well, yeah,
Okay, so that the board could make a motion to postpone. You know, it's on the agenda, so the board could simply just.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's right. it's on the agenda, so we do need to address it.
Yeah.
But we could vote, and have a special meeting.
Yeah.
The guy just voted for it.
Or the next meeting.
I mean, you still have like 3 cases.
Yeah, or push it to the next meeting.
Meeting.
It seems like we've got quite a bit on the agenda already tonight.
Yeah.
In addition to this. So I maybe in a coming month, there would be less on the agenda. This was the last item on our agenda, so it's not gonna be, it's all gonna be pretty late.
Dennis, you do have a property in there, right, that wants to change the designation to free zone.
Or, he's asking for 2 additional zoning. So we already have 2, he was 2 more lots. But we have opposition against that already, we have all kind of letters and phone calls.
So delaying the comp plan another month or so, doesn't necessarily gonna throw a big wrench into that.
No, because the zoning resolution comes first. Once we get that cleared up, then the comp plan should be much easier, give us more time to go through the comp plan and get that done.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Can this link be made available to me? When I click on the link, it's just the map. It doesn't show any of the maps.
So do you have these buttons up here, the map layers and stuff?
Maybe that's what I'm missing.
Yeah, because this is interactive. It's got a lot of additional data sets in there that, where the PDF doesn't.
Yeah.
So if you click on that, pops up all the different layers that you can turn on and off and.
The 2025 comp, people have.
I don't understand that. Can they fire that into the sun?
Is it not working for you?
I'm checking that, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I think, yeah, good to go.
okay.
Thanks.
You can't break it. So, just
Yeah,
play with it, zoom in, zoom out, measure, select, so forth, so on, and close it and open it up again and go back to where it was before, so.
For my minutes, can I have clarity on what just happened? What did we decide? I have a couple different things down, so what was the final word?
That was a mess.
To postpone the comprehensive plan until all the changes and we're done.
yeah, maybe make a recommendation to the regional planning, because it's on the agenda, that they postpone until next month. The regular
So
stuff.
I'm not talking about the strategic plan or anything. That's what came out of all that talk.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
And you're gonna change that parcel to PRD, just need to include that in.
well, no, we got, you got them, the changes, get the vow, so,
That doesn't need to go on there.
no. But it'll come back to, for final approval.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think we can have the changes to the Deer Creek map, and the final proposed map. We're gonna have to take another look at Darby Township's. It's completely. Improved with our. Taking place. And they're asking for a whole lot of changes. Now we showed that little note.
Well, that's why I was saying if you just eliminate the strategic plan from the referencing it in the comprehensive plan, is that the way to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for the public to see the comprehensive plan and to see the strategic plan and we're limiting growth and development, but you just need to make that compatible. That's that, but yeah, we can't really update the strategic plan that quickly to make it compatible with what we're now proposing as part of the comprehensive plan. We could include that growth corridor from onto the Plain City, but that still leaves us with a multitude of changes to Darby Township that are outside the growth corridor.
I mean, you can change the growth corridor to include all of those. The whole eastern side of the township.
And I think,
I mean, their focus areas, not necessarily, they're based on corridors,
yeah,
you know, so. And, you know, with some of the, what Dublin's purchased over there, that, you know, that could change as well.
yeah, we already purchased the property right there. I think the one you have good, solid, the one we purchased.
Yeah, I mean, we can discuss this further.
This is,
Another two.
it is always,
Wasn't a good time. to discuss it.
this one?
It was because of the regional plan.
Yeah.
I know it's not, yeah.
Well, that one, there, this. One, two, four, first.
No need.
40 minutes.
All right,
Wow.
which I did, Amy sent you some notes on the 161 corridor group, but kind of what the scope is, and yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, so you kind of understand what that group's trying to accomplish.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta go. Everything else to go to the order?
Move to adjourn.
All right, do that again. That's the good.
I bet they do a type two next time. What do you think?
I think so. I think so. I think they'll spare themselves the headache.
Okay.